When Stefan Cammell left school, he went straight into a building apprenticeship and rolled up his sleeves to start at the bottom of the pecking order. But right from the beginning, he had a burning desire to have his own business. So in his 20s, he struck out on his own and set up his construction firm, Cammell Projects, where he deals with high-end, multi-million-dollar build contracts. He has some great insights about getting started, dreaming big. Also have a listen out for what he looks for in a new apprentice. Here's Stefan Cammell speaking to Hannah McQueen.
I'd sort of worked on a farm during the holidays, and I was always either going to be a farmer or a builder. And Mum and Dad didn't own a farm, so builder was it. So yeah, left school. And
why did you think you wanted to be a builder?
well, I was terrible at school, no good at studying and exams and sort of computery desk type jobs. So, and I liked making things, and so yeah, jumped on board and found a local builder. Just went sort of door knocking.
Literally, you went in.
Yeah, jumped in the car with Dad and drove around and sort of looked for local building sites, and then came across a local guy and had a chat to him, and he said, yep.
Well, how did you position yourself so that he would want to take you on board?
Well, I was a strapping young lad. I was rowing at school, so I was a big, tall, strong lad, and so sort of just sold him the dream about being a strong, young, keen boy. And so yeah, he was willing to give us a go, and that's how it started, really.
And so what did that apprenticeship look like? Was it full-time, like straight after school, straight in there full-time? And what were you paid?
I was paid $6.50 and and so that was straight after school, went into full-time work. So that was 7 till 5, Monday to Friday, and then Saturdays as well. So it was a massive shock coming from school. But it was good, just straight into it, straight on site, chuck the boots on and start sweeping the floor and loading rubbish into the trailer and just basically being a labourer.
And I guess that you're starting at the bottom, right? Did that bother you?
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it. I knew that I was at the bottom of the heap. So, but for me, it was exciting, being around these older guys and who had all the sort of things that I wanted. They had all the tools and they had the big 4-wheel drives that tradesmen had, and they all had dogs. So it was a typical sort of tradie setup. But yeah, I knew that I was at the bottom of the heap, and that was fine with me, and I wasn't afraid of hard work. So yeah, I used to enjoy digging holes and loading rubbish and sweeping the floor, which was pretty much what you did for the first 6 months. Just a general dog's body, but sort of picking up things along the way and working with the guys, and that was good.
Was it a leap to starting your own business, or did it just feel like just the next thing, like not much thought went into it, or did you start to strategise about how you were going to be successful in it, or did you just assume that you would be, or it just wasn't something that crossed your mind?
I think I always had, like I say, because my dad had his own business, so that was always my goal, was to have my own and to do my own thing. So that was always there. And I remember actually my boss, would have been before 6 months was up in my apprenticeship, and we were driving in his old Datsun Ute, and he said, "Oh, what do you want to do when have you got any goals?" And I said, "Oh, I want to have my own business, and I want to take work off you." And that's a 17-year-old saying that I want to be sitting where you're sitting. And 10 years later, I was competing against my old boss for jobs, for the same sort of work. So I just had that, it was just in me, I suppose. So it was always what I wanted to do, and I wasn't going to stop until I did it.
If you're hiring an apprentice yourself now, so I assume that most apprentices are young, what qualities do you look for in them, and how do they demonstrate those to you?
Obviously, a person coming out of school to us doesn't have any skill, really. So you're not sort of looking at skill levels, really. You're looking at someone who's keen, enthusiastic, willing, things like manners. You know, if a young person can pick up the phone and ring you and have a conversation and actually converse with you like an adult, then you're halfway there. Because if someone's got manners, they've got drive, determination, then you can teach them everything else. But I think it's those basic skills that sets kids apart from each other. Mm-hmm. So that's what we really look for. If someone can, I always want to meet people. So if they give me a call and say, hey, I'm looking for an apprenticeship or a job or whatever, I say, yep, fine, let's have a meeting. So they'll come to site or to the office, and it's just the way straight away. They get out of the car. How do they present themselves? Do they shake your hand? Do they look you in the eye? Yeah, manners.
Building tends to be boom or bust. So, there's a perception that there are good times and there are not so good times, which when you own the business can be quite challenging. What have you learned to get through that so you can make it through the whole cycle?
Obviously, we've been in a boom for a few years, and it's actually easier as a business owner, I believe, in construction to run your business on a down cycle when it's not booming, because it's so hard for us to employ staff at the moment. Mm-hmm. And the staff, they want so much more money, and contractors, all their rates have gone up. But when things do quieten down, our business has survived on our reputation. When things quieten down, the people that sort of don't have that good a reputation tend to drop off first. We haven't ever really struggled in quiet times because we've sort of relied on our reputation and the sorts of people that we work for.